The Alfa Romeo Spider Duetto is a quintessential Italian sports car, La Dolce Vita on 4 wheels. The body was designed and assembled by coach builder Pininfarina. Alfa Romeo only built around 6,300 of the first-generation round-tail Duettos. Jürgen Stratmann is an Alfa Romeo fan. He's always on the lookout for specimens of the classic models. He found one in an Alfa Romeo workshop in San Francisco. He says the overhead door was half rolled up, and in the semi-darkness, he saw a couple of old red cars, so he went in. He brought one of them back home with him to Bavaria. Everything about Stratmann's model is original. The engine is the famous double overhead camshaft 1600. Stratmann says it has its quirks. He wouldn't use it for everyday getting around. It has the original Weber dual carburetors on it, and even the old Cinquecento Pirelli tires. Nowadays, a first-generation Duetto Spider in good condition would command some 20,000 euros. Stratmann has decided to take his Spider Duetto to Italy, back to its roots. He's going to take it back where it was born, to close the circle, as he says. He intends to park it there and say, "Here, old man, this is where you came from." The Spider has no trouble handling the alpine ups and downs around Bolzano. The 45-year-old Italian sports car has to make it through 500 kilometers non-stop. Jürgen Stratmann is a passionate fan of Alfa Romeo mechanics, but he also loves the mystique, the admin created around the car. He explains that a real vintage car fan has to have an original brochure for the car. He has one, and he likes where it says things like, "the finest thing under the sun." Arezzo is just outside Milan. Alfa Romeo had its head office and an assembly plant here from the 1960s to the mid-80s. Now, somewhere among the empty halls is a museum. Jürgen Stratmann is just happy that his Spider held up. The car did a sensational job, he says. No mechanical problems whatsoever. His back hurts from sitting in those old seats for so long, but otherwise, everything's fine. Now they're off to the museum. The Alfa Romeo classics are collected here. Production at the Arezzo plant ended in 2005, and now only the administration office is still open, and the museum, which was open in 1976. Alfa is actually an abbreviation of Anonima Lombarda Fabbrica Automobile, or Lombard Automobile Factory Incorporated. This is the P2 Gran Premio. Stefano Agazzi says the Gran Premio, built by famous designer Vittorio Iano, was very important for the brand. In 1925, it was the first Alfa Romeo to win a Grand Prix, and it was Alfa Romeo's first straight 8 with a supercharger. It had top speed of 225 kilometers an hour. The Alfa 2900B has been called the world's fastest and most beautiful sports car. The design was state-of-the-art in its time. The Giulietta appeared in 1954, the compact car that paved the way for Alfa Romeo's entry into mass production. The Bertone Designer Workshop developed and built the sporty sedan. The model also brought home several racing trophies. Pininfarina is said to have designed the open versions of the Spider. The 112 horsepower Alfa Giulia could do 190 kilometers an hour. Stefano Agazzi explains that the Giulia became a symbol of the Carabinieri, the Italian police. It gave chase to thieves and burglars in many an Italian movie. Nearly 1 million Giulias were built in various body styles.
È stata realizzata soprattutto per la produzione e della famiglia Giulia sono stati realizzati circa 1 milione di esemplari.
Jürgen Stratmann's Alfa Spider Duetto handled the journey back to its roots with flying colors. And of course, he's taking it back home with him, again to Bavaria.